Hey guys, Robbie here from CFSP Nutrition at CrossFit South Bend. Today we are going to talk about a guide to nutritional off-roading. So this is going to hopefully give you some context for when you should be having foods that are completely off-plan in a particular context and when you should not be doing that. So let's dive right into it. So I have a few different categories up here. I've got, the type of food that you're having, the social situation that you're in, the frequency with which you're having the food, the mindset with which you're having the food, and then what do you do after? And then the green, blue, and red correspond to things being healthy, so-so, and not so healthy. And when we say healthy and unhealthy here, we're not just talking about the quality of the food, which is typically what we're talking about. We're also talking about how it impacts you psychologically. So, when we're talking about off-roading, there's a difference between a Pizza Hut pizza, as we'll talk about, and, once-in-a-lifetime pizza in Italy. Both of them probably aren't too healthy for you from a nutrient perspective, but from a, psychological perspective and joy and meaning and stress reduction, one can be healthier than another. So let's get started. So let's talk about food first. So at the very bottom here, we've got junk. We all know what this means, right? Fast food, processed foods, Twinkies, donuts, Ho-Hos, pizza at McDonald's, Krispy Kreme, you name it, processed junk food that really just has no good quality ingredients in it and no real redeeming nutritional value, but in addition to that, it's just made with, not good ingredients. The next level up from this would be homemade. So if you decided to make something at home, whether that's, donuts or French fries, or a cake, it's going to be less bad. Why? Well, for a number of reasons. You get to control the ingredients that go into the food. That's number one. Number two, it's a pain in the ass to make. So, chances are you're not going to be making too many French fries or too many cakes because it takes a while to make. Michael Pollan, the famous food writer, has a saying, eat whatever you want, just make it yourself. And while I don't totally agree with that, I think there's something to it. The idea is you get to control the ingredients and you don't make it as frequently because it's just not as readily available and it's a pain to make. And the last one is artisanal. This isn't some hipster reference. This is just the fact that, look, if you're gonna have off-plan food, try to have the best quality stuff. Again, gelato in Italy on a once-in-a-lifetime trip or pizza in Italy on a once-in-a-lifetime trip is a whole lot different than Pizza Hut or Domino's, just period. While they're both not probably doing too much for you physiologically to give you nutrients, they're both still pizza or ice cream. One is a whole lot better, made with a whole lot better ingredients and in a much better context than, Pizza Hut. So let's next talk about your social context. In terms of the most unhealthy way to have, off-plan food, alone. And we've all been there. I've been there. I'm sure you watching have been there at some point. Either because you're scarfing it down at your desk because you're stressed out, or in the car, or at home. Eating alone, generally speaking, isn't the best time to have off-plan food. Next up would be other people. So if you're out for some sort of social gathering, but this is still so-so because what if it's just Wednesday night and you're going out for beers, or it's every single Friday, you're having a happy hour. You can do whatever you'd like, but if you're asking me in terms of what is the best overall, something like a legit special occasion, your birthday, a close family member's birthday, your significant other's birthday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever holiday is truly meaningful to you, not Arbor Day. If Labor Day is of particular importance to you, great. But make sure it's a legit special occasion. Just because there are other people around doesn't necessarily mean you should be having off-plan food. That brings us to frequency. This should go without saying, but, probably the worst here is going to be if you're having off-plan food daily. If you're having off-plan food daily, like McDonald's and Krispy Kreme and Pizza Hut daily, something has really gone wrong. And I can't think of a single context in which that is either biologically, physiologically, or psychologically healthy, period. Weekly, okay, so maybe you say it's, the weekend, your cheat day, what have you. I've already done another video on cheat days. Just because it's the end of the week doesn't mean it's a time to, have off-plan food. It can be, but generally speaking, I would say this is so-so. Generally, I would say the frequency here should be something like monthly, like one to 2 times a month. Every time I have someone make a special occasion calendar, typically when they list out their actual special occasions for the year, it's something like 1 to 2 a month. No one has ever handed back one that has 52 special occasions, i.e. one for every single week. And I think that's basically on track. It shouldn't be that many or that frequent. What kind of mindset should you have when you are eating these foods? Well, the worst kind of mindset to have is reward punishment. I had a bad day, or, I'm really stressed at work, therefore I'm going to reward myself with a pizza. Or, I just can't lose weight no matter what. I'm just going to, eat till I'm full and can't stand it. Both reward and punishment are bad ways to look at food. Food should neither be reward nor punishment. Now, of course, many of us look at it this way. I know I have a long history of looking at food that way. Most of us in this culture do, but it's something that you definitely want to try to work on. Now, another way to look at it in terms of mindset, kind of a so-so mindset, would again be the weekend. Now, we talked about this a little bit before with frequency, but this is more like, it's the weekend, I get to relax, I get to put my hair down and eat whatever I want. Again, that's kind of a so-so attitude. I can understand the desire to relax, but there are lots of other ways to relax and engage in, meaningful activities without, going completely off plan on food. You could spend time with loved ones. You could go to the beach. You could do all sorts of activities. Just because it's the weekend isn't the greatest thing. That by itself is not a great reason. And then joy and meaning. So if something brings joy and meaning to you, so, the famous example here is grandma's chocolate chip cookies on Thanksgiving, or, chocolate Charlie, I don't know, for Christmas. Whatever it is that brings joy and meaning to your life, that's probably going to be the best mindset to have when having off-plan foods. And then what happens after you have the off-plan food? If it never ends, that's really unhealthy. If it's just like one day after the other, if you just, continue to eat this stuff, that's not good. Better than that, but still not great, would be you have off-plan food for the next few days or the next few weeks, and then you eventually get back on track. That's better, but still not great. The best would be you get right back on track the next day, the next meal. When you have off-plan food for a special occasion, there's nothing wrong with that, but guess what? You shouldn't be having off-plan food from November 25th to December 25th all day, every day. Do you know what I mean? Have whatever you want for the meal of Thanksgiving, have whatever you want for the meal of Christmas, and then get right back to it. It shouldn't be just this bacchanal for the entire time. So, to summarize, if you are having junk food alone on a daily basis as a means of reward and punishment, and this is something that continues and continues, that's really, really, really unhealthy. If, on the other hand, you're having homemade food with other people on a weekly basis, just because it's the weekend, and it continues for a few days or weeks at a time, that's slightly better, but still not great. On the other hand, the best would be if you are having once-in-a-lifetime food made with the best top-quality ingredients, even if it's ice cream, even if it's cookies, even if it's cake, even if it's pizza, only for a special occasion, and typically monthly, and something that brings joy and meaning to your life, and you get right back to it, that's going to be the healthiest way to have off-plan food. Now, the truth is, most of us are a mix of the greens, blues, and the reds. Do as much as you can to eliminate the reds. Those are really just unhealthy, and I can't think of a healthy context for those. And then try to get as close as you can to the all greens, and you'll be going a really long way to making sure that you're having a healthy relationship with off-plan food. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.